Marlena Bravender. She's not teacher education like the pamphlet says.
Well, technically I'm
right.
in that office, but I do cooler things.
Cooler things with cell phones and technology.
Yes, there it is. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
How many came for the free pizza? Well, I one of the two educational technology professors on campus, and as it is with technology, sometimes it breaks. And my wonderful PowerPoint is not with us today, but good thing they make me practice a lot what I'm going to say before I talk, so we're set to go. So, how many of you were born after 1980? Everybody? Okay, we're going to get some participation here. How much of your social life would you say the majority of your social life is coordinated through texting or social media rather than going to someone's house and saying, hey, let's hang out? Majority? Okay, all right, we're getting somewhere. How many of you feel comfortable multitasking or task switching quickly? Majority? Okay, all right. How many of you have a cell phone? Oh, look at that. And would you say that for the majority of your life, you've had access to a cell phone or a computer or some form of technology? Okay. Congratulations, you're a digital native. Has anyone ever called you that before? Okay. Well, you qualify because that means you are fortunate enough to have been around technology all of your life. And so you've learned to communicate and interact with people in multiple ways, person to person. To exemplify something that I think comes with being a digital native, I'm going to tell you a story about, I was going to the post office. This just happened a couple weeks ago, but I thought it was quite poignant. I walked in and I just have to get some stamps. I don't want to deal with packages and passports or whatever. I go in and I see a couple of tellers at the post office. I could go talk to them, but there's a line of like 6 people. I'm just there to get some stamps. And I know there's a little computerized box to the right of me, and if I walk over, I can put my debit card in, get some stamps, be in and out. So which one do I choose? I go to the little box. I don't want to wait in the line. I want to go, go, go. But there's one girl in front of me. She's under 20 years old, and see that her little stamped envelope is on, it's getting weighted, and I thought, oh, she's pushing these buttons, she must be a pro at this machine. I just know how to get stamps, and that's what I want. She's pushing buttons and pushing buttons and pushing buttons. Man, she sounds like she knows what she's doing. And I start to see the line I avoided get shorter and shorter, and do you ever have one of those moments where you think, oh man, maybe I should have just gotten the line. I made the wrong choice, but I'm like, this young girl probably knows how to use this machine. Finally, she hits the machine and she walks away. All right, I just need my stamps. I'm not going to interact in this exchange. I'm just going to go get my stamps. Okay, takes me what, a minute and a half to put my card in, get my stamp, stamp my letter, put it in the post office slot. I turn around and there's the girl who just hit the machine. She looks at me and I just want to leave the post office at this point. It was kind of uncomfortable. She was like, you know, I don't come here a lot. As if going to the post office, I don't know, is a strange thing. And she's like, you know, do you know where I mail an envelope? Well, if it's got a stamp on it and it's addressed, it goes in one of these boxes right here. And I thought it was really interesting because she had the same experience I did. When she walked in, she thought, okay, well, there are these 3 knowledgeable people at the counter that I could talk to. This is their job, is to help me at their place of business, and I could interact with them, and they could take my letter. Or I could go to this box, and this little computer is going to tell me what to do. I don't know if she was afraid to interact with people, uncomfortable, or if it's just that for her whole existence, her entire life, she has technology at her fingertips giving her the answer. And many times, often faster than a person might be able to give her the answer. So it's a really logical thing for her to go to this box. Except she didn't know she could just walk in. It seemed almost deceptively easy to just walk in and put your envelope in a box that someone takes from you, right? So I stepped back and thought, man, I not a digital native. But what an interesting dilemma. I think the same thing happens when you go to the grocery store, because you can check out your own groceries yourself. How many of you prefer to do that rather than wait? Oh, look at that, almost all of you. So I want to talk about cell phones and what your cell phone use might say about you and how you interact in your career field later, or how people perceive you is a better instance. So here's an example. If I'm having a conversation with, say we're on a date. I know, stretch of the imagination here. Let's just say we're on a date. And I'm talking to you, but I also am doing this. What are you going to think about me?
You're rude.
I'm rude. Why am I rude?
You're not paying attention to the person.
I had a 20-year-old student, and it's a male student, and he said, you know, my girlfriend's great, but when she picks up her phone, anytime it buzzes, I mean, sometimes it's just a discount coupon, like in a text message. I know I'm just talking about my day, but I don't feel good when she does that. Well, okay, I get it. That makes sense. So she's perceived, whether she's probably well-meaning, she probably still likes him. And the same thing goes with when you go home to visit your families. So how many of you frequently, or maybe every couple months, go home, visit mom and dad? Okay. When you're there, do you also go hang out with friends from high school? Would you say that your family enjoys seeing your laundry more than maybe you going? No, right? They want to spend more quality time with you. Again, I have a mom who's, mid-40s, and it's like, sometimes I just wish my daughter put her phone away for a genuine 5-minute conversation rather than sitting there and planning what she's going to do that night when I'm right there and I don't see her. Does it mean the girl likes her mom any less? No. But it's normal for her. It's normal everyday behavior. But how does the mom perceive this? What does she think?
That it's avoidant?
Yeah, like, oh great, I'm your maid, I'll do your laundry and send you back to college come Sunday night. The point of that is to say our cell phone habits, they matter because people perceive us in a different way. So cell phone habits matter, but they also matter in the workplace. Picture this. We're all at a business meeting. This is our table, this is our business meeting. And half of us are on our laptops. Do you ever go into class and everybody's got their laptops up? How does the teacher perceive the student with the laptop? Are they really excited because they're all taking notes? No? You don't do that? You don't just sit and all take notes whenever your computer's up? So, okay, they might. It could be that they are really excited and that they're taking notes. Same thing happens in a business meeting. I have a friend of mine, she works at a law firm, and said to me, I have no doubt that my boss is clearly doing work-related things in our meetings. But I also feel like she's not listening to me because she's typing. And so much so that this woman had to ask her boss for her attention. I mean, could you imagine that, saying to your boss, like, excuse me, I need your attention up here while I deliver this report? I mean, that's going to put you in a comfortable spot. And her point was, if you weren't going to pay attention, maybe I could have just emailed this information to you. Okay, so the boss is perceived in a manner that's not so great. I also had, what if everybody's here? We're all at this meeting, and President Bashan comes in. And he's listening, but he's back here on his cell phone. Do you think he cares any less? No? You think he's playing Candy Crush? He could be. He could be. I've talked to a number of CEOs, CIOs, and they have said, yeah, everyone's just used to me being on my phone. And sometimes I get bored, and sometimes I play Candy Crush. Or insert any other puzzle game that you could get at the moment. Do we think less of them? But we're making judgments about them, right? When we see them, we could be judging them positively. We could think like, yeah, they are on their email, they're getting work done, they're multitasking. Or we could say, man, all they do is play games. I don't know, I can't see their phone. If you see me doing this with my thumb, what do you think I'm probably looking at? Instagram? Anything else? Twitter? Insert any social media. You could probably just assume that. I'm probably not reading a book. So what happens in the workplace, your cell phone habits that you have, that you deal with your friends and your family, are going to come into play in the workplace. The same judgments you make about people when you see them somewhere are going to happen in your offices and how you interact. And I don't think we think about that, because we think, oh man, no, I know better. When I have a career, I won't do those things. I'll be a professional. I'll know how to separate the two. But what if you are networking? What if you go out to a restaurant with a group of coworkers? Is that still a professional setting? Okay. Are they going to be on their phones? Maybe. What do you do if you go out with a group of coworkers to have this great time and connect with them, and everybody's on their phone? 4 people at a table at a restaurant, all on their phones. Maybe they're all talking to each other through text on their phones. It might look a little funny, but do you engage in the same behavior, or do you? What would you do? You walk away. You're like, sorry guys, I can't hang out with you tonight. I gotta go home. No? Well, we're gonna talk about some of those things. But it's such an interesting phenomenon that they now make a beer glass that has half of the bottom of the glass cut out. That is perfectly, it's called the offline glass. My cell phone will fit underneath it. The only way for the glass to stay standing is if my cell phone is under it, which means if I go out with you and I have this glass, I can't look at my cell phone. I'm forced to have conversations with you. I'm forced to look at you. I'm forced to have awkward pauses. And if I take a drink, I have to take my cell phone out at the same time, but then I'm really not looking at you because it's in 2 places. There's also something called the off pocket. It's a little baggie that you can put your phone in, and no signals can reach it. So nobody can get to you. I mean, I suppose you could turn it off, but that's just that's too much, right? So there's a little bag you can put it in, stick it in your purse, stick it on a table, and then you can have a nice networking meeting. So if our cell phone habits matter, the way we're perceived, it comes across at work. It also comes across in these quasi-professional settings. Have you heard about the job fairs or career fairs that they do here at Saginaw Valley? Career fairs are excellent, if not just for the practice, for you to go. It's a great place for you to see multiple employers in one day. But there are a lot of people and there are long lines. So frequently what will happen is you'll see someone at a desk having a mini interview, quick interview, and everyone in the line behind them is just standing there. But nowadays, are they twiddling their thumbs? No, they're on their phones. And I talked to a human resources professional last week, and I said, I want to talk to these students about this stuff. Can you give me a quote? And she said, yes, I absolutely love career fairs. I go and I watch the people in line on purpose. I thought, well, that's interesting. She said, yeah, if they immediately go to their phone, I don't know how much of a people person they are. And I immediately discount them for a job that has interactions, lots of social interactions. And I thought, man, how many people think about who's watching them when they're standing in line? Because you're waiting to get to the front of the line. And same thing, I talked to a friend of mine who works at a very large nonprofit organization. He said, when people are coming to interview, they're sitting out in the hallway in a chair, and I purposely walk by. Okay, aren't they going to know who you are? Well, no, they don't know if I'm interviewing. They don't know who I am. But I'm checking to see if they look at me or if they pull out their phone to have some sort of missed awkward conversation. And half the time, people pull out their phones and they don't know. They're like, oh, I'm checking this text that I looked at a few minutes ago that I already know about so I can avoid eye contact with you, right? Have you ever done that before? Walking down the hallway, these long hallways at the school, and you don't want to make eye contact. I mean, heaven forbid, someone might say hi to you. Oh no, what are we going to do? We pull out our phone, right? Same thing happens in the business world. I mean, so these are the stories I'm telling you, the quotes, they're from people who've said, this stuff matters. The way you act, not in the business setting, is the way I know you're going to act in my business setting. So if you don't make a clear and conscious effort to understand what your cell phone habits are, they're going to follow you. Because you can't break them if you don't know what they are. And that's how that you're going to work in a career. And it doesn't matter if it's business, education. I mean, shoot, even one of the quotes I have is from somebody who's working in the art world. So the point being is that there's an entire industry built around our poor cell phone habits or our lack of interaction. And you as a digital native population, as blessed as you are to have this opportunity to be able to interact in two different formats, you're also sort of cursed at the same time, because the easier one might be to avoid personal interaction, when career-wise it's most beneficial to you at that point. So if you want, I've got some discussion questions, and we can have a little round table so I can get to know a little bit more about you. I don't want to say this is how the world works and this is how you have to do things, because the world's changing. Technology is constantly changing and evolving. And I mean, just look at how you listen to music now versus how you listened to music when you were a little kid. I mean, it's very difficult to buy a computer without a CD drive nowadays. So I don't want to say this is good and this is bad, but maybe we don't have to use terms like good and bad. We can talk about just how things are and maybe where they're going or where you see them going.